You are 19 years old. It is the year 30,000 BC. And since you were born, your body is different from all 40 other members of your tribe. While other men have almost smooth chests, yours is covered in thick, dark hair. Your arms, your face, even the backs of your hands. A density that stands out, a texture that cannot be mistaken. You didn't choose this. It wasn't a decision nor an accident. It was simply how you came into the world. But, because of this single characteristic, you will spend your entire life being judged, observed, interpreted, and the most fascinating, and perhaps the cruelest thing is that the way you will be judged changes completely depending on when and where you were born. The same body, the same essence, but a radically different social verdict. Prepare for a 30,000-year journey. A journey that will show you that normality is one of humanity's greatest illusions. It is night. The cold of the cave intensifies, but the warmth of the fire and the proximity of your tribal brothers bring a sense of security. You are there, part of the circle, but also on the margin. Some look at you with admiration. To them, this hairy body seems stronger, more resilient, perhaps more made to survive harsh winters, dangerous hunts. They see in you an advantage, a blessing of nature. You are the toughest hunter, the fiercest protector. Your presence inspires respect, perhaps even a certain reverential awe, but others avoid your gaze. They look away. To them, you seem less human, more like the bears you hunt, the wolves that howl in the night. There is a subtle distrust, a fear of the unknown, of what deviates from the norm. You are the other, the one who doesn't quite fit. They wonder if this physical difference hides a difference in spirit, in soul. You don't know it yet. But this division, half respect, half distrust, a thin line between the divine and the bestial, will repeat itself in practically every human society that will exist after yours. It is the first lesson of your journey. Difference is a mirror where society projects its own fears and desires. Before we continue your story, you need to understand one fundamental thing about your own body. You are not a mistake. You are a variation. And that distinction is crucial. Millions of years before you were born, all your ancestors were completely covered in hair, not by choice, for survival. At some point, the human body began to lose this covering, probably to better sweat during long hunts under the sun. But this change was never the same for everyone. In your body specifically, there is a hormone called date, and your hair follicles on your chest, arms, face are extremely sensitive to it. More sensitive than those of most men in your tribe. You did nothing wrong. Your body is just responding more strongly to something every man has. It's a genetic variation, a biological signature, but your tribe doesn't know this. To them, you are just different. And that is what will follow you for the next millennia. Now fast forward in time. Thousands of years have passed. You are born again in ancient Egypt around 1500 BC. Here, the story is different. Hair, especially body hair, is seen as impure, animalistic, wild. Egyptians shaved almost completely. Priests and royalty were impeccably smooth. Your body, covered in hair, would be a sign of barbarism, of a lack of civility. You would not be admired for strength, but perhaps marginalized, viewed with disdain. You could be excluded from rituals, considered unsuitable for life in society. Difference, once a mix of admiration and fear, now becomes a clear mark of impurity. The very same body that was a symbol of power in the caves is now a symbol of the untamed, the uncivilized. You would be a living contradiction to their pursuit of order and purity. But the world turns. You were born again in ancient Greece around 500 BC. And here, the perception changes radically again. The Greeks celebrated the natural body, virility, strength. Athletes competed naked, and art exalted the human form in its fullness. Body hair, especially beards and hairy chests, was a sign of masculinity, wisdom, and maturity. Philosophers, warriors, respected citizens, many were depicted with dense beards and robust bodies. Your body, which in Egypt was a sign of impurity, here would be a symbol of strength, virility, connection to nature and to the gods. You would be seen as a complete man, an ideal. The same characteristic in a new context is now a virtue. Difference is celebrated. Move forward a little more. You are born in Rome, around 100 AD. Here the story is more complex, more ambivalent. Romans valued hygiene and civility, and hair removal was common, especially among the upper classes. A smooth body was a sign of refinement. However, facial hair, the beard, was a symbol of wisdom and authority, especially for the older and more respected. Emperors and philosophers were often depicted with beards. Your body then would be at a crossroads. Perhaps your chest and arms would be seen as a bit rustic, but your face, with a dense beard, could give you an air of dignity and experience. You would be neither fully accepted nor fully rejected. Roman society, pragmatic, would find a middle ground, a way to categorize your difference. Difference is no longer a stigma or an absolute virtue, but a trait to be socially negotiated. Now your last life begins in a different way than the others. You were born in 1537 on the island of Tenerife. And this time, your body is not hairy within the normal range. It is hypertrichosis, a real, rare genetic condition that covers your entire face with thick hair from birth. You were delivered to the French court as a gift, not as a person. As a curiosity, King Henry II of France, instead of seeing you as a monster, sees you as an experiment. He gives you a name, Petrus Gonsalvus, and decides to educate you as a nobleman. You learn Latin, good manners, dress in fine clothes. But the irony is brutal. You are educated to be a courtier, but you are never treated as an equal. You are a civilized savage, proof that nature can be tamed, but never fully accepted. Here's what no one expected. You learn to read, learn Latin, get married, have 7 children, 4 of whom are born with the same body as yours. Your entire family is painted in portraits that exist to this day. You are not called king, nor are you called monster. You are called the man of the forest, a living curiosity. And 200 years after your death, people with the same body as yours cease to be a curiosity of the royal court and become a paid circus attraction, advertised on posters as Wolfman. The same genetic condition, from genuine fascination to a spectacle of public exploitation. Difference, once an object of study and genuine fascination, is now merchandise. A spectacle. Now return to the present. To your real life, today. Do you think this judgment has ended? Do you think modern society, with all its science and enlightenment, has overcome the need to judge the different body? Recent research shows that the amount of facial hair on a man still measurably influences hiring decisions and first impressions on dates. Media bombards us with beauty standards that demand hair removal, smooth skin, sculpted bodies. Social media filters allow us to correct what we consider imperfect. The same mechanism that decided whether you would be respected by your tribe, purified in Egypt, admired in Greece, tolerated in Rome, studied in the French court, or exhibited in a circus, remains active. It just changed clothes. It hides in algorithms, in magazines, in online comments, in judgmental glances. Your body was never the problem. The problem was always in which century, in which country, in which room that body happened to be born. Difference is not the problem. Judgment is.